Hey guys, I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber from Kyuujin, and today we are back guys with Band of Brothers episode... you have warm hands? Episode 7.
The breaking point.
Probably about Buck.
He's the thumbnail. Last episode we followed Eugene Rowe, the medic for Easy Company, while they were in Bastogne. He was running around everywhere.
Such
no
a good
supplies.
episode.
Really good episode. He had no supplies. He had too many faces to look after, too many people to go to. We saw him as he went through his own trauma, the heaviness of the job. He made a friend back in the town where they would put the wounded, and she ended up dying, so there's that. But we also saw the necessity of getting back on your feet and keep doing the job like she did. You know, you say you don't want to see another wounded man and treat another wound, but when there's a wounded, you get up and you do it. So kind of like in a similar way, he had her bandana and he needed it for bandages, and yep, he chose to use it, despite it meaning he's gonna lose the memory, the reminder. So they've been saved, rescued.
No. They were not rescued.
Well, they were helped at the very least. So now they can keep going. This situation is over. But this episode being called The Breaking Point, I am afraid it's gonna get even worse. So we'll see.
I'm suspecting that
Buck
he
might
might
be
have just to do with what he learned from back home.
His girl left him. Yeah, that's true. So we'll see. Let's jump in this episode and find out. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of these, and check out our Patreon for the full-length reactions.
Okay, let's go.
I've seen
No
death.
opening.
I've seen my friends, my men being killed. It doesn't take too many days of that, and you change dramatically.
You would see dead people, you know, dead soldiers there, here, ours, theirs, civilians besides, dead animals. Death was all over.
You don't have a chance when your friends go down, you know, to take care of them.
We saw that last episode.
I was about to cry, seriously.
I withstood it well, but I had a lot of trouble in later life. Those events would come back, and you never forget them.
Am I gonna cry this time?
Breaking point. It gets too much for all of them. It's true, like if you think about it, in the moment you cannot stop, you cannot breathe, you cannot process, but after, everything would hit you.
It's true. We did not talk about the guy who was not able to help his friend who got shot in the neck.
You'd feel powerless. It's 1 meter. You'd feel like, I could get there, but you don't, because otherwise you'll get shot. You may feel like you've let him down, and especially since he promised to get his stuff and he couldn't. Oh, this is gonna be a really tough episode.
After holding the line at Bastogne, Easy Company was once again called on to help push the Germans back through the bulge. I was glad to be out of my foxhole and moving again, even if only to get warm.
Every episode or so has a different way to tell us a story. I think it's interesting.
Hubler's running with the German officer on horseback was the most dramatic moment of the day.
Finally, he got his gun.
As we dug in, he went from foxhole to foxhole, telling everyone just how he'd finally got one.
Hey, Lip. Yes. Where's Dyke?
He's around. But I haven't seen him all day. I didn't see him when we were coming through the woods, and I have to figure out how we ended up.
I know it's tough to get to Winter's level, but every time they mention Dyke, it's like he's never around, he's never doing his job. Is he practicing with his gun?
Nobody out there.
You're shitting me.
I'm just...
Oh, Jesus, it's who? He shot! He shot himself!
Is he all right?
Fucking way. He all right?
What happened?
Just went off!
What are you doing with the light gun in your pants?
Take it easy.
Stay there, Hope.
Fuck. Because he played with his fucking gun.
I don't think he played with it, he said it went off.
By the time we got him to the aid station, he was already dead. A bullet cut the main artery in his legs.
He was unlucky as shit.
Where's Dyke?
You wanted to see him, sir?
No, I just would have expected to get this kind of news from him.
He's not around.
Well, I was there, sir. Afraid it might as well be me.
Everyone's looking for him.
Where's Dyke? I probably heard that question 1,000 times. There were long stretches where we didn't know where Lieutenant Dyke was. Wouldn't have been so bad if he was just one of the guys in the company. But Lieutenant Dyke was supposed to be leading the company.
Yeah.
Great job at it.
Dyke wasn't a bad leader because he made bad decisions. He was a bad leader because he made no decisions.
Yeah, when we met him, he was just complaining about the lack of supplies instead of trying to do something about it.
What's the formation you want us to go for?
At present, as per usual, but I'll clarify that with you at a later time, Lieutenant Compton.
What the fuck?
You're supposed to follow this guy into battle.
Yeah, no.
Trust him to lead you.
No.
I don't know what he's doing on those walks. Maybe he feels like he needs it, but when you're in charge, unfortunately,
He'd been sent down to E Company to get some combat experience. Sometimes we got the feeling E Company was an annoyance to him. Something unpleasant he had to get through before he could continue his march up the ladder.
I know the feeling, previous boss of mine. I would vote for Buck out of these guys, but if we help him out, because I think he's going through something. But I've seen a few potential candidates.
We all agreed Buck Compton would have been the best choice to run easy. But to be honest, Buck wasn't the same soldier he'd been before he got shot in Holland.
Exactly.
He was more serious somehow.
His mind is not there. Not all the time.
He's not the same.
I heard about Hubler. Shame.
You should have been there.
Where you from, Lifton? Where'd you grow up?
Huntington, West Virginia.
I don't want to bash the guy, but to me it's like he's trying fully to connect with his man.
It feels to me like he has something to ask, so he's just being nice right now, but
You miss it? Huntington.
it's like he doesn't really give a shit about the answers, but
Honestly,
it could
sir,
just be him.
try not to think about it that much.
Just formalities.
Did he leave?
Where are you from, sir?
You fucking left?
It just left. Cold, yes. You really didn't care about what he was saying.
I know we see Winters still, but I miss him so much. But yeah, the other guy reminds me of my old boss.
Yeah.
The way he used to act, pretending to care when he doesn't.
Stories about spears are probably all bullshit anyway.
We've seen a few things.
He's like a myth, a legend.
What are you men doing out here? We're watching the lines, sir. Keep up the good work.
And we remember the time he took a gun out by himself, just running into bullets.
Carry on.
Still acting like a machine.
Oh, you don't care for smoke?
No.
No, sir.
What if he knows that they're saying that behind his back, so he's doing that to freak him out?
Probably.
If they've got us targeted, maybe... We hold the line here.
Good luck and
Right, Lieutenant?
everything. Why is Zini there with you to talk about this?
Fine. You will take care of it.
God damn.
What a joke. I'm pissed off, seriously.
They know where to shoot, so if they see you, it's already all prepared. But I guess they'd be receiving orders from people that are not here, that don't necessarily see what's going on,
Yeah.
and they have to follow the orders no matter what, even if it's not convenient. God damn it. Just came back too.
Oh shit.
Stay down! Stay down!
Yeah, but how do you stay down when your friend is calling you?
Shit. Come on, Joe. Come on, pal. You said you get back and stay before me. You ain't going anywhere. Incoming!
God damn.
Come on! Hurry up! Go now! You're gonna get bombed!
Yeah, but that means leaving his friend.
Hold on! I'm here!
Ah, shit. Oh, shit.
You stay down! First Sergeant Lipton, you get things organized here. I'm gonna go for help.
I fuck off.
It's people we knew this time. It's people we've been with since the beginning, too.
Medic!
This one's tough.
Oh shit.
Oh, they're still alive, both?
What's the guy gonna do to get killed
Ugh.
already?
This is still really bad, but at least they're alive. That means they're going home.
How's Buck?
He's fine.
I don't think he
sure?
is.
Yes, he's fine. You should probably go talk to him now, huh?
That question of, like, he was screaming at them to get to the foxhole, and maybe he's thinking, like, first of all, it's more wounds, more death, more bleeding. Maybe he's thinking if I had gotten out of there and helped them, or if I had been sooner, I would have been hit too.
Buck was a great combat leader. He took everything the crowds could throw at him time and again.
Gosh, how we all know what an exciting young man you are, and how your heart and love.
I guess he just couldn't take seeing his friend's toy and Garnier all torn up like that. No one ever thought any less of him for it. With Buck off the line, there was no longer any possible alternative to Dyke.
Oh,
As Philip,
this is a tough episode. Okay, then. I don't know where it's coming from, but yeah.
He was
I'm not into. Oh. The fuck? Everything is happening? Everything is happening at the same time in one episode. What is this? Oh shit! Oh shit! Shit!
You didn't smoke.
I think he's gonna smoke now. I know you guys warned us we were gonna cry. I did not expect this episode to hit this hard. It's like we went from 0 to 100.
We cleared the woods east and west of Foy. Now it was time for the inevitable assault on Foy itself. The problem was, E Company still did not have a leader.
you should,
be, yeah.
You already is.
Cause like that, get rid of Dyke, man. He's just.
Those fucking higher ups, seriously.
Well, they don't know what's
The night
going on
before
between
the attack,
them.
I did something as first sergeant I would never have imagined myself doing.
You took things into your own hands. You said that can't go on, which I mean they knew, but
How's Easy's status?
I have every confidence in the men, sir.
Good.
But on the other hand, I have no confidence in our CO, sir.
yes, thank you.
With
Lieutenant
fucking
Dyke is an empty
reasons.
uniform. He's gonna have to make decisions, sir, and I think he's gonna get a lot of Easy Company men killed.
Others have to take his place and order the people around. Like that's not a good leader.
I said what I
Replace
had
him
to
as much
say.
as possible.
There was nothing Winters could do.
I know, we all know, but little messages can be maybe
Couldn't
sent
very
out.
well remove a company CO, especially a well-connected one, because of the misgivings of a company first sergeant.
He told himself it wasn't going to do anything, but at least he tried.
I've set up 2 sections of light machine guns at either end here. They'll give you covering fire. D Company will be in reserve, but we shouldn't need them. The point is, you gotta move in there fast.
He's literally pushing him. This is what I would do, so now you do it. When you gotta baby him. I hated hearing, oh, someone with connections. Like, connections should not fucking matter in battle.
It should never matter.
Because it can't do shit. The thing is, as good as he could have prepared him, we talked before about how plans will go to shit anyway.
You need to adapt, and he can't do that.
Yep.
Where the hell's first platoon?
Fucking it. The orders are going against one another.
Get out of there! Move!
Oh, don't stay, they're gonna get shot. You know what? That would have been so bold on the battlefield.
All of you get back here where I can see you! God damn it! First platoon, hold up! Take cover!
They are running around like chickens with no heads. He doesn't know what he's doing. Take charge.
Hold back! What are we doing, Lieutenant? Why are we stopped? Lieutenant, what's the plan? I don't know! Lieutenant, what's the plan? Captain Winters!
He's not made for this.
Okay, boys, take your men on a flanking mission around the village and attack it from the rear! We cannot stay here! You understand me? Attack the village by itself? We will provide suppressing fire!
I don't trust you.
Do you know what you're saying?
Get going forward!
I miss you so much, man.
I seriously hope that this is gonna work and they won't get killed for nothing.
Jesus Christ.
I feel like, yep, this is exactly what would have happened if Sobel had been in charge. They took risks to get rid of him, only to end up here.
Keep moving!
He's gonna go.
He doesn't give a shit, like,
God damn it, you do not go!
but who?
Get the battalion commander, now get back here!
What do you do then?
These men are gonna get killed.
Spurs, get yourself over here!
Send them one man
Guy
army.
can take that attack on in!
He was gonna go himself, and Spears just... he's a trooper. une gazelle.
I'm taking over.
He's out of there. Like, he's not here.
All right, I want mortars and grenade launchers on that building till it's gone. When it's gone, I want first to go straight in. Forget going around. Everybody else,
Straight to business.
Thank God.
Fucking tanker.
side of the town. You see the side of them? If we don't connect with I, they're gonna slip away. That's right. Wait here.
New stories to add to his legend.
Oh
He's
my
fucking
God.
himself.
What the fuck, man?
At first, the Germans didn't shoot at him.
They were surprised.
What the fuck is he
I
doing?
think they couldn't quite believe what they were seeing.
Yeah, me neither.
But that wasn't the really astounding thing. The astounding thing was that after he hooked up with I Company,
God damn. I do that sometimes. You deserve it, man.
Wow.
Spear came back.
Your balls are him. You got balls of steels, man.
This is a man. Film him. They were surprised the first time, but he still came back. The second time they weren't surprised.
we spent our night in Rashomp in a convent. It was the first time we'd spent a night indoors in a month. Garnier was badly wounded and Hubler died accidentally.
Oh, this is fucked up. I love how they did this.
Joe Toy had lost his leg. Among the dead were Heron, Mellon, Sawasko, Kenneth Webb, Harold Webb, Alex Pankala, and Skip Muck. Our month in Belgium cost us one good officer, Buck Compton, and one bad one, Norman Dyke. But we gained a good one in the end, so I guess we came out ahead. What is it? Nothing.
We bow to your greatness, man. We are in awe. This is what it is. I'd hug the men.
You want to ask me, don't you? You want to know if they're true or not, the stories about me.
We suffer ourselves.
I bet if you went back 2,000 years, you'd hear a couple of centurions standing around yakking about how Tertius lopped off the heads of some Carthaginian prisoners.
Maybe they kept talking about it because they never heard Tertius deny it.
Maybe that's because Tertius knew there was some value to the men thinking he was the meanest, toughest son of a bitch in the whole Roman legion.
You there? Yeah, sure.
These men aren't really concerned about the stories. They're just glad to have you as our CO. They're happy to have a good leader again.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, from what I've heard, they've always had one. I've been told there's always been one man they could count on. Let him into the Bois Jacques, held them together when they had the crap shelled out of them in the woods. Every day kept the spirits up, kept the men focused, gave them direction. You don't have any idea who I'm talking about, do you?
No, sir.
It's
Hell, it
you.
was you for a sergeant. Ever since Winter's May Battalion, you've been the leader of Easy Company.
Unofficial.
And everything
But in
but
everyone's
the
heart,
name.
yeah.
And you're not going to be for a sergeant much longer for a sergeant. Winter's put in for a battlefield commission and Sync approved on your behalf. Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Much deserved. Anything that can go his way. He was phenomenal this episode. It comes down to rank. Like we kept saying, put him in charge, put him in charge. They cannot put anyone in charge,
I know.
but he had what it took.
Beyond the wounded and killed, every man at Bastogne suffered. Men unit by shrapnel or bullets were nevertheless casualties.
Unhit by shrapnel.
Oh,
Unhit.
unhit.
Captain Winters. Woo! This episode was tough.
I wanna get rid of the bad first. Dick. Dyke.
Dyke. Stop
No,
calling him Dick.
I wanna call him Dick. Sorry.
Dick is Winter's surname, so his nickname.
Dick.
That's what they call in America. That's what they call someone called Richard. That's
Yeah.
the nickname for Richard.
Yeah. Dick Winters.
Yeah.
Well, Dyke. Sorry.
Oh man, we talked about fear before, and that's the part of me felt a bit like a hypocrite at the end when we were judging him hard because we kind of protected Blight in episode 3. We kept saying that I could not blame anyone who could not move, who faced fear and stuff. Like, it's a situation we cannot understand without being there. And fear is a terrible thing that spreads quickly. When you're facing situations like this, it can get overwhelming. And on top of that, if you're in charge, we already talked about how the stress level would be through the roof, and not everyone can shoulder that. But the difference is, Blight back in the day was not an officer. So even though we said it, they expect you to do your job. They expect you to show up and take your gun and shoot at the enemy, because if you don't do your job, someone could get killed. It's even more true if you're the officer. It's like, you need to be able to do this, because otherwise they won't know where to go, or if you give half-assed orders, they'll end up being killed. So everything we talked about when it comes to fear and leadership, putting them together makes for a horrible situation like this. So as much as I feel for the guy who lost it completely in the face of battle and stuff, I cannot really forgive the complete abandonment of his group. And on top of that, it's the arrogance, and not necessarily arrogance, but just the way he acted before that makes him a bad leader.
I can understand the shock and the trauma when you're in battles. You know, when you're being shot at left and right, and you don't have it never ends, basically. I can understand that it was in shock.
But in that case, don't be an officer, refuse the job, and he was that because of connections, which fucking sucks, because I said it in the episode, connections don't do shit on the battlefield. It's kind of like money. It doesn't fucking matter if you're rich, doesn't fucking matter if you know people. When you're facing a guy with a gun, you're gonna get shot anyway, no matter who you are. So being in charge, giving someone a big job like this because he's got connections is stupid. It's putting your man in danger, and it puts stress and responsibilities on the shoulder of a guy who won't necessarily be able to shoulder them to do that. And on top of that, you add how they talked about him, how they kept saying like he was basically a guy who
it would have been something if he made bad decision, but he did worse. He did none.
Yeah, but they talked about him saying I mean, I don't know if it's true, but the way they saw him, they were saying he came to Easy Company on like it was a step on a ladder, like thinking if he did the job here for a little bit, he was gonna get promoted. And that's, first of all, that's a terrible way of thinking. When you're going to war, you need to do the job.
Like your previous boss?
But that's the thing. Like, you can do that and be an asshole when you're working in a hotel. You cannot do that
on a battlefield,
because there's going to be consequences there. Like, it should not work like this. According to, I don't think anyone should be promoted because of their name.
But the world is fucked up.
The world is fucked up.
So people with connections or money will talk louder than other people.
By people who are not even here, that's the worst. Like, the guys that tell them what to do, they're not there with them necessarily. The higher-ups, I'm talking about the ones that tell the officers what to do. They're back over there where it's safe. They don't necessarily see where we're going. They don't necessarily see the enemy. We talked about how plans can change like that. So the higher-ups would be saying, go there, hold the line. Like, they don't really give a shit what it takes, because they're not there to see what it would take. They're saying they need that to happen, so it's your job to do it. If it's hell, it's hell. You're gonna be the one. They're gonna be the ones suffering for it, not the higher-ups who said, do this, do the job. And those that promote these officers, people like Dyke, they don't see them on the battlefield either. And they don't necessarily hear from him that he fucked up. So they'll hear his name, they'll be like, oh yeah, I know his father, or he's he went to that school, he's a good guy, like he's and he's supposed to be a great person in the future, or he's got a lot of money. Like, they're gonna hear that, they're gonna want to have favors or whatever, they're gonna put him up the ladder. He's not gonna deserve it, and he's gonna lead his men into fucking hell. And on top of that, it's his attitude too. If your intention when you're joining these men is only to be there for a minute and then leave and get promoted, how are you supposed to care for them? How are you supposed to lead them? Yeah. You're not a leader. You're a boss. We talked about this.
No, I mean, you're not even a boss. He was doing nothing. Like I said, I'm not trying to be an hypocrite and I say, okay, you can be in shock when you're fighting. That's the thing. But when you're just with your man, trying to connect, trying to make decisions, he was taking a walk in the wood.
He kept leaving. He was never there when they needed him. He barely connected with the men, and when he tried, he would leave before they left. Yeah, like, he didn't really try. He was there without being there. An empty uniform, he said.
Yeah.
So Yeah, exactly that. And how would you expect these men to respect him, follow him, just trust him? So yeah, he's gone, so there's that.
I mean, if you compare this man versus Lip or even Spears.
Okay, no, Winters, man. I missed Winters in this episode.
I missed Winters, but I'm glad that we got Spears and
Lip. Yeah.
I mean, Liv is a freaking
You can do
great
so
leader.
much worse. He's a legend. We barely saw him. Like he was mentioned a little bit in
He's
the beginning.
always running. We don't sign him enough.
And he's got this composure. He looks like a robot, but this is actually interesting. We know he talked about how he saw the war. It's basically just, this is my job, I do it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not attaching any emotions to that. I'd be very interested in if he goes through the war. His point of view after, like how if he survives the war, like how he felt after it was done. Like did it ever come back to him? Because they also talked about how the shock of the event, the shock of the war, sometimes it hits you while you're there, sometimes you manage, but then when you go home, it hits you way later.
Yeah.
Because when you're fighting, you don't necessarily have the time to process what's going on. So sometimes you would detach. We saw it with the medic last episode. Spears seems to be detached as fuck. Like he's focused. That's his job, so he does it.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to do that, you basically don't really see a comrade or anything. You see a soldier. You see something to be it's not pawns. That's not what I'm trying to say, but it's not a game either, but you basically see a strategy, a plan, and you follow the plan, you do what needs to be done. He doesn't really think about the consequences to himself. Hell, he ran through Germans and came back. That was awesome, by the way. I have a lot of respect for him after this. We talked about what it could possibly mean, what he did in the first episode, second episode. We discussed, like, did we agree with what he did? Honestly, he's just a man doing his job. But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I kind of wish we could see or hear about how he felt after, if he got home after the war. That would be really interesting. But still, not just him, but yeah, Lipton too. God damn, he was good.
I mean, Spears was right when he told him that ever since Winters got promoted to another battalion, he was technically the leader of Easy Company and everything but the name.
And the fact that he didn't even know he was talking about him when he praised him. He just didn't register, because I think he never saw his potential, at least not until he got told right there. He didn't do that, and that's a big difference between what I said about Dyke and now what we're talking about with Lipton. He's not doing it with the purpose of getting promoted or with the purpose of just spending time here and then leaving. He actually cares, and he's doing it for the good of the men around him. And he desperately needed it this episode, because god damn. First tears ever since we started this show. I did not expect them, but it hit me hard.
They got it hard, yeah.
Yes, and I think it's because it's the first time that so many men we've seen from the beginning, who I almost started thinking...
You were almost there to remember all of their names.
The ones that died this episode, either I recognize the names or I recognize the faces. So it's people that have been with us since the beginning, and it's kind of like in this episode, they all went down. And not just that, Buck fucking hit me hard too.
But you know what?
The emotions from that.
They said that some of them thought that Buck changed when he got wounded in the first place. Another one said he changed when he was in the hospital. And Lip said that he truly changed when he saw his comrades, his friends being wounded. And you know what? I think that maybe we can take so much when things happen on ourselves. You know, when we got wounded, we can take it.
It's one way to deal with things.
It's one way to deal with things. But when you see people that you cared about, people that you loved, being wounded, being hurt, dead basically, and you can do shit about it.
And it's always going to be in their mind, like that man at the beginning, the veteran who talked about seeing friends dying, and it still hit him. It still hurts all those years later. How would you feel seeing your friends fall and you're there, like you're in the moment, you're there? We know, we see it, you cannot do anything, but in the moment there are so many what ifs. What if I had been faster? What if I had reached him in time? The medic last episode we talked about this. What if I had tried anyway? What if like despite like what if I was not afraid of the bullets and I had gone like spears? And that's another thing. Buck, when the two lost their legs, was in the foxhole calling for them.
You mean Garner and Joe?
Yeah, he was calling for them in the foxhole, and then he decided to go help them. That's when he got blown up. The what ifs that could that he could think about in this moment. What if I had gotten out sooner? We would have gotten to the foxhole faster. Or what if I got out of the foxhole to help them and I got hit too? That's another if. So we cannot even process the amount of emotions, because on top of the what ifs, there's then the guilt of I couldn't save my friends. There's the guilt from if you for 1 second think I'm glad it wasn't me, you're done.
Yeah.
You'd be feeling so bad, because pretty sure it's not something you can control, but this thought can probably go through some of these guys' mind and it would wreck them. If I had been there, kind of like again with Luz, the guy who imitates. I thought he was gonna die, and then his two friends in the foxhole who he was trying to reach got blown up.
Yeah.
If he had gotten to the foxhole, he would have been dead with them.
Didn't it say that he was the only one who never got shot by something?
Was he the one? I don't remember. But still.
Never been wounded since Normandy.
Well, if it was him, I guess he was lucky this episode, because the dud ended up in his foxhole. But that's two people we knew that we ended up losing. I really love and dread scenes like the one they did at the end with the men all together, and then they make the ones that are gone disappear. So they put a face to the names and they remind us of who went away.
Love these men. I'm gonna probably lose even more.
It's powerful and it works, but yeah, the tears this episode from the shock of losing people we know, because I was trying to say earlier, a lot of the men that we've been following since the beginning, it's kind of like I assumed they were gonna make it because they've been fine ever since episode 1. So I'm like, yeah, this guy, I know him, he's been around, he's gonna be fine, and then out of nowhere he just gets killed. Every episode we kind of focus on someone new, so I was thinking, oh, okay, so if we're focusing on him, it's gonna be his story. It's not how I truly thought about the show. I knew no one was safe, but it's kind of like in the back of my mind, I was saying, oh, they're safe. They're not, no one is safe. And it was a huge reminder, a shocking moment, and on top of that, the Buck scene when he was in the bed and he couldn't listen to the letter that reminded him of home, talked about how it used to be. The memories would hurt so much, because when we say Spears is leaving stuff at the door, like he's not focusing on anything but the work, this is a way to cope. If your way to cope is to leave anything memory, anything home behind, so it doesn't get corrupted, it doesn't get tainted by the trauma and everything else, to be reading those letters after such a huge event, after losing friends, you'd be thinking even more of loved ones, you'd be thinking about life before, those happy moments, and those memories would be, like, it's a bit weird, but I'm thinking about Inside Out, kind of like when the happy memories are being tainted by sadness.
Yeah.
Like you're adding a sad emotion to something that used to be fun. It's not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of that moment to try and explain what I mean. You know, you'd be maybe reminding yourself of how it used to be.
You would not associate those memories with fondness and with happiness.
Well, I'm thinking you'd be seeing those not as fond memories, but as a reminder of what you may lose or what you've lost or what your friends will never see again.
True.
So that's what hit me really hard in that moment, and the actor did a really good job too. So that was, so a really, really fucking tough episode. I am glad we're following. Like we saw new people these past few episodes, but I'm glad that we're going back to some of the men that we've been following. Lipton is a guy we've been following since the beginning too. I was wondering where he was because last time we saw him, he was delivering yet again bad news. But to see his side, which by the way, the way he did this episode was great too. The narration is different. When I talked about that, I meant it's like every episode has its own way of telling the story. This was through a narration. Winter's episode was him writing the report. And other times, like it's not as intense, but those specific episodes where they change the way they tell the story, I like that a lot. So yeah. But Lipton is fucking great.
personal touch when you think about it.
To them, since it's their episode, I feel like, yeah. And I wanted to say Lipton has my respect for trying to stay positive through bad stuff, because he's definitely going through his own trauma. He's definitely going through his own stuff, kind of like we talked about with Winters. But he knows what the crew, what the men need, so he's, for their benefit,
he's putting the crew's
putting on this mask
needs first, then his own.
He's doing what he is difficult, probably, you know, to stay cheerful and positive despite everything. He's looking for their needs, and he's actually going to the higher ups, Winters in this case, to ask for stuff. He knows it's not going to change anything. Winters, his more powerful. He's higher in the hierarchy, but he's not the one in charge of everything. So you can't just make changes like this.
I mean, when he was about to run on the battlefield to help his men, it's just going, Winter, get back here!
But it's frustrating.
It is. You want to do something, but you can't because of orders.
I thought it was a bit mean to be like, I know you're close to these men. I'm like, it's not about that. Yes, it's a bit about that.
You're losing men.
But you are losing men. You want to win this fight? Yes or no? Do something about it. So he called Spears, and that just was phenomenal. But I mean, you love these guys, you are close to these guys, you would want to be there, and you're seeing them from afar do stuff like mistakes after mistakes, and you know how you would have done it. It's one thing to tell the guy what to do, but we talked about how those plans would go to shit as soon as you would meet the enemy. So then you need to improvise, and he was not in a fit state for that. He was not prepared for that, which I guess if you had stayed more with your men and had tried to, you know, get to know them and practice with them a little bit, you would have been better facing the situation. But you didn't give a shit. You didn't try.
No, you took walks.
I don't know what he was doing on those walks. Maybe he was woohoo. Maybe he was already feeling the pressure and he needed time off. But
it was on a path of life.
And then, like, I don't know, pride stops you maybe from saying, nope, you know what, I'm not fit for that job. Or it's just you expect, like they said, maybe he really expected to be bumped up and he didn't give a shit about this company. It felt more like a disappointment, like, I'm stuck with them. But it's your job, man.
But I mean, from what we saw, Easy Company,
they always do the bad stuff.
Always do the shitty work, you know?
Constantly. It feels like they never get a break either. Okay. But Buck is gonna go home. At least he's gonna rest. I don't want him to come back. I love him. I think he needs to leave, rest. He's had enough. And Lipton, he's gonna get his promotion, pretty sure. So this is good for him. Spears, we're gonna see him more now. He's in charge. This is great. And we've lost a lot of good men that we knew and we've seen since the beginning. So that sucks. This episode being called The Breaking Point, we should have seen it coming, but are you really ever ready for stuff like that? It's a TV show for us, but it still hurts. Okay, that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode with us. It was really, really tough. Not much commentary. I know I try to speak as much as possible usually, but not this episode.
It's gonna get tougher, guys.
I was at a point where after Buck, I was trying really hard not to just break. My throat started to hurt, so I was just doing this constantly. I wanted to say stuff here and there, but I couldn't speak without just bursting into tears. It got really difficult, and this is only episode 7, so yay! Okay. We'll see you next week with another episode. If you want to see it already, it is on Patreon, so you can check it out. The link is in the description below.
Alright, and if you don't want to watch the next one, we'll be on YouTube next week, guys.
Yes.
So see you then.
Bye.